You're now listening to Hispanics Causing Panic, baby. Let's do this.
But right now, Hispanics are causing panic. But right now, Hispanics are causing panic. Yeah, folks, Hispanics are causing panic.
Orale raza, G Funky Boxing of HCP. That's Hispanics Causing Panic. For those that are new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I'm live. And we got a special guest tonight. My co-host D-Style and I, we brought on a special guest. Christina Cruz is here off her big win, her first win in the professional ranks. So let everybody know how you're doing, Christina.
I'm doing great. Again, here with you. I told D-Styles I'll be here in my pajamas, so let's do this.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. You know
Whatever
what I mean?
it takes.
That's dedication right there, man. You got to give it to her for that, you know?
And I want to ask the chat, by the way, just as who's down with HCP? Let us know in the chat, of course. Let us know who's
That's
down.
right. Let us know. Let's go ahead and say what's up to the familia that's here early and punctual, and then we will get started here. Nopal is here. LT, what's up, LT? Nando, I think I already got a super chat too, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. Man, we got a lot of people here, man. I'm loving it, man. I'm thinking there's a new trend, bro. Remember before we would go live, there'd be like 5 people, and then like 10 minutes later, everybody's here. Like everybody's getting here early these days, man. I love it.
It's the intro.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. You know, here's the super chat. I'm gonna give some love out to Nando Yama. It says, "I'm just here for the intro with the fire emojis." Thomas Jones.
Don't
here,
leave though,
Macho
Nando.
Girl.
Like you know.
Yeah, don't leave, Holmes. We got a guest tonight, you know. So yeah, guys. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, but before we get into that, like I said, we have our guest here, and we're going to talk to her. So, Christina, you spent a long time in the amateur ranks. You know, you're a highly decorated amateur. You decided to go over to the professional side of boxing. So, after your first fight and your first win, let us know how it was, how everything went.
It was definitely an experience. It was fun. Very different than the amateurs on the logistics side. But being in the ring, it felt very natural to me. It felt like, I was just doing what I always do.
Yeah. So, like you said, the difference between the amateur shows and the pro shows.
Well, actually, I want to touch on something really quick about the difference.
Go ahead. I was just
you're in the back, right? Like you know, I want you to go back to that night. So you're in the back, they're wrapping your hands, and that's no different, right? And then they put on the gloves, right? They're a lot smaller, right, than what you're used to.
A lot smaller.
What's going through your mind when they put on these gloves on you? Like, what's going through your mind?
Just like, let's do this. The same thing that was going through my mind as I was in the amateurs. That part felt completely. It felt the same.
Okay.
Because once I get in like that mindset, like I'm about to fight, everything just like goes out the window. Nothing matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
that's what the athletes they always talk about, that how they have that tunnel vision, is they just focus on
Right.
one thing, you know, and
Right.
getting the job done. So, you know, how did it feel going in there getting your first win as a professional? I mean, you know, was it a sense of relief, or was it like a monkey on the back? You finally got the weight off your back, you know?
No, it was more like it just put more fire in me. Like I have so much fire in me right now. Like I can't wait to get back in there, honestly. Um, and then like as far as like getting hit with smaller gloves, it didn't feel any different because your adrenaline's up. Um, I would say the only difference in there was getting headbutt a lot.
Mm.
Um, not having that headgear protecting from that. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the fight. You could watch it on Fight TV still, it's on there. But in the last round, she headbutt me. In the last, I guess, few seconds. I thought I was gonna get away clean with nothing on my face, but throughout the fight, I was feeling the headbutts.
Okay, so constant headbutts, and but before the fight happened and all that, you know, you said the logistics were different. Like, what was different about it? Just the whole experience from the press conference and everything. What was different about it?
Um, you have to do like 3 physicals. You have your post fight, you have the fight physical, and then you have the pre-fight fight physical, and then post fight physical. That was different. And then having an inspector with you, which is the weirdest thing for me, following you everywhere you go. So once you get in,
Oh,
you have to drink their water. At least in New York, this is what I know of. You have to drink their water that they give you. They watch every single thing that you do, from just being there with your team to going in with you in the bathroom. And one thing
Mm.
that boxers always have to do is use the bathroom a lot before they fight, especially like to pee, just to pee. And it was
right,
just
right.
like that was a little weird.
Yeah,
So do they
I've heard
stand like
that.
outside the stall, or is it like outside the door? Like, where do they stand
No,
exactly? I'm just
They have to
they
watch
stand
you.
like they have to watch you. Yeah.
Yeah.
what?
Oh.
Can
While
you
you're
say
taking a
Yeah, and
pee?
I didn't know that either. Like no one told me going in, and then when
Like,
we
yo,
got
bro,
there, and
like,
she was,
so he didn't turn around?
huh?
He didn't turn
Well,
around?
she
What?
didn't turn around. It
Oh,
was
it's
a little
this is the
weird.
she at least, right? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
yeah.
but even in the amateurs, when we got drug tested by USADA, it's very random. They show up at your house at any day. They have to watch you. So, I've been through that, but right before the fight was just a little weird for me, especially when you have to like pee like 5 times before you go in there. I call it like adrenaline pee.
So it was like the police song, right? Like every step you take, you know, like they'll be
Right,
watching you the whole
right.
time.
You know, I'm glad.
Exactly. And then like, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I know a few people that work as glove inspectors here in California for the commission,
Hmm.
and I come on here because there's been a lot of issues about gloves and illegal tactics going on in the sport of boxing, and they think that the commission just doesn't care. They don't watch. I try to tell them, look, I've heard from people that work for the commission that they literally have to follow the fighter everywhere they go. Before the fight, after the fight, they take off the gloves and everything. So I'm glad you mentioned that they are right there with you,
Right.
watching every single thing you do.
Yeah, no, she was on me. Like anyone who came in the room, anything I put in my mouth, um, they're watching you.
Every move you make, and look, and
Yeah.
we've been saying this on ATP, but it's getting the confirmation is there right now. Every state is different. I get it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But how was it being back home? You know, like how was that like at a
That
personal
was
level and in a boxing level?
it was amazing for me. For the past whatever years, 5, 6 years, I've been on the road, back and forth, and whenever I go back to New York, it just feels good. It's home for me. So that was really nice. And then I actually didn't see anybody before the fight. Like I didn't see my family. That's something I don't like to do before I fight. I don't see anybody. My brothers actually live like 5 blocks from Madison Square Garden, and I didn't visit them. I told them I'd see them after the fight, but afterwards I got to see everyone. Just being there at the garden, it felt amazing. I fought there 6 times, so it was nothing new to me, but to make my pro debut there, it was awesome.
Did you have some home sweet home like food after the fight? Like was there like stuff you usually don't eat, but that you just had to have?
Yes, so one of the nights after I went out with some friends and I got myself some pizza. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I love pizza. So that was one of the things that I was able to eat that I wasn't able to before.
It's nothing like that New York pizza, I bet. You know, I hear good
There's
things.
nothing like it.
I want to give a quick shout out to to a subscriber and big time supporter of HCP. Nopal Baxiano says HCP, the home of real boxing talk. I appreciate the donation and the support to the channel. So, with that being said, um, you know, you come from the amateurs where they keep the amateur fighters very, very busy. So, are you planning
Mhm.
to do the same thing now that you're in the professional ranks?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to fight as frequent as possible. Of course, give my body that rest that it needs coming off whatever injury or whatever it is, and then get right back in there. I get back to the gym tomorrow, not heavy, kind of just light, work my way back up, and then have some meetings with my coach and my manager to see what's next.
Nice.
So like ding ding, the bell rings, you're duking it out, and then ding ding, 2 minutes. How did that feel? Like, was it too fast? Was it like, well, what do you mean
Oh
it's the
my
round's already
God.
over?
So my coach and Mike Basil Cutman, like I came back to the corner and I just looked at them and I was like, that's too fast. But yeah, so that's one thing I guess I have to adjust to is the time. I'm used to fighting 3 minutes. That was I feel like that is a game changer for some people. I don't know if you guys got to see the fight, but one of the judges scored it a draw. And I was just like,
Saw
I
that.
was blown
Oh
away.
boy.
When they said that, I was like, what? I felt
That was
like
my
it
next
was,
question about the draw. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, that happened. And I was like, okay, this is not so different than the amateurs with that kind of scoring.
Yeah, well, we just had some bad scoring as well Saturday, but go ahead, D. Style with your question.
No, well, we had bad scoring in the amateurs. We had bad scoring
Hmm.
in the
The
pros. All
Olympics.
around, but boxing doesn't discriminate. You know what I mean? It's an all
Right.
around thing. But what? How was the her as a fighter when you were in there with her? Like, did it feel like a step down from what you're used to in the amateurs, or a step up, or like the same? Like, what? How would you
It,
rate it?
it
Rate
felt
it?
it felt a little the same. After like the first 30 seconds of the fight, I it was gonna be a easier fight for me. But she was tough. She kept coming. She didn't like let down not once. She had
Oh,
already
their
four or
head,
five
huh?
fights. Yeah, yeah, exactly. She had about four or five pro fights already before stepping in the ring with me, and she did fight in the amateurs. I remember being at tournaments with her and
Okay.
us being on opposite ends of the bracket, but we never got to fight each other.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, she does have some experience, and she was a really nice girl. After the fight, we spoke, and I'm grateful she actually took the fight because they contacted her. Might have been like through 2 or 3 weeks out, and they had to convince her in order to take the fight. They weren't going to take it at all. And before that, a lot of other girls turned it down. So I am grateful that she was ready to step up.
Well, where do you feel you? Because look, the women's ranks. I mean, I see girls out here that are fighting women that are 3-9. No offense, but they're already getting
Right.
title shots and stuff. You know what I mean? You have a long, extensive amateur career, right? So that as far as your learning on the job, I don't really think that's something you need to personally do.
Right.
So, how far do you think you are from actually fighting for a world title?
I don't. I don't think too far. We're shooting for my next fight to be a 6 or 8 rounder. We actually tried to get this fight for a 6 rounder, but I don't think the commission approved it. Maybe because of my opponent's side and not having the experience that I had in the amateurs, and also, it is a show, so it is time based, and you have to get those fights in by a certain time because it was being televised. But we did shoot for more rounds and hoping for the second fight to be that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
It's a big increase in rounds for sure right away.
Yes.
So speaking of the next fight or next few fights,
Yeah,
who's
next
on the
few fight.
radar out there? We want to know. The fans will want to know who's on the radar. You know.
The tough questions. Okay, being who I am, I live in the moment, and I don't look too far ahead. So I'm not really thinking about, like, I don't really have anyone on my radar. Whoever's going to be in front of me at that moment is who I'm going to try my best to take down. So I don't, but I know some of the top girls, and I do look forward to fighting them in the future. Because I want to be the best, right? I want to be able to fight the best out there. So right now, just taking it one step at a time, and taking on whoever's in front of me.
Well, there you go. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. It's a good answer. All right, we'll accept that one because you've only had one fight. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right.
but there's definitely, like, there's room, I would say anyway, to fast track it a little bit. Like I know you say you don't
Yes.
think ahead, but are you fast tracking it?
Right. So, again, on my first fight, we actually tried to contact a girl who had about 20 fights. But she turned it down because
Whoa.
she had a fight coming up.
Mm.
So we're looking for something like that for the next 2 or 3 fights. So.
Okay. You see how she covered up for the girl, so that she turned it down, but she had another fight. You
I'm a
gotta say they turned it
defensive
down.
fighter.
Like but I will say though, I mean, look at do you think, like if you're offered, like let's just hypothetically say there's an injury at a fight and they're like, we really need an opponent. Hey, Christina Cruz is right there. She has a lot of experience in the amateurs, and let's say you only have like 2 or 3 fights. Let's say 3 fights, right? And that's for a world title. Would you take it?
Yeah, I mean, if it pays, definitely, I would
Okay.
take it. One
All
thing
right.
about me though, even fighting in the amateurs, like, I never ever turn down a fight. Never. If something was offered to me to do, I would do it. And being in the amateurs, I fought the best. It didn't matter to me, and I go in the pros with that same mentality.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the type of
But
mentality. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
the money also has to be right, right? I'm not gonna, if I get contact, hey, we need to fight for this person and we'll give you 10 G's. I'm just gonna be like, hell no, I'm not gonna fight for a world title for, being on a B side for 10 G's.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
you got to get what you believe you're worth for sure. Speaking of the business side a little bit, you don't have to tell us who, but have you had any contacts with anybody in terms of signing with a promotion or anything like that?
Um, we haven't had any contacts yet. We have been looking at one promotional company that we really like, and we're still in the works of that. Don't want to talk too much about it, but
Right.
it's one that supports female boxing, and so we're looking for something like that right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
sounds
Hmm.
right up what you should be looking for, because
Yeah.
we've talked to a lot of female fighters on HCP, and we always ask them the question about how could we get um women's boxing to get more viewers, and then at the end of the day, you get more viewers, obviously your pay goes up, for the fights. So yeah,
Right.
it's you got to go where they're going to support you the most. I think that's a smart
Exactly.
move.
And yeah, and it takes everybody to work together for that. The promoters, the fighters, people like you guys, and I appreciate you guys always, having me on here and putting women's boxing out there. And that's what we need. We need that kind of support in order to get the bigger paydays, more TV time, and things like that. But it has to be everyone working together.
How how different would, if at all, would have the fight been if you had 3-minute rounds?
Honestly, I don't know. Um, I mean, of course, I would have had more time in order to showcase my skills. and possibly get a stoppage. But again, that's hard to say. She was a tough girl. She was able to take a shot. I hit her with two of the shot. I know I hurt her twice, but I still didn't. I still haven't developed that instinct to be able to notice that. After I
Okay.
after I fought and I watched it, I saw where I hurt her, and I probably should have jumped on her.
Okay.
But I mean, more time would allow myself to be able to showcase what I'm really capable of, and I think it will benefit me more, especially in the later rounds.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, there
And
you
we
go.
just got off of the Olympic Games over in Tokyo, and the tournament there, those rounds are 3 minutes for both men
Yeah,
and women. So
Yeah.
why do you think,
yeah.
in your opinion, why do you think it's different in the pros for the women? They have 3 minutes in the
Well,
amateurs and 2 minutes in the pros.
I know in the amateurs, the women fought for it. Everyone came together and fought for it, and that's the reason why we have 3-minute rounds. When I started boxing, it was actually four 2-minute rounds. The first few years I started boxing, then it switched to 3-minute rounds. So for the past probably 10 years, I've been fighting 3-minute rounds, but it's because we fought for that. And the women in the pros just have to fight for it. Everyone again has to come together and be able to agree upon that. I know
So,
some states allow it, right?
There have been a few fights recently
like, I
where the
think in
women were allowed.
Texas, I think if both women agree to it, I think Sinise Estrada and Marlene Esparza have fought 3-minute rounds, right?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
did
yes.
they?
But that
Okay.
was agreed to, right? Like both women, I guess, have to agree to it. But I guess
Right, and it also depends what state, right?
right, yeah, definitely. I
Mm-hmm.
think it depends on the state or country if it's
Mm-hmm.
overseas. You know, I want to ask you this, because different women feel differently about the 2-minute rounds. Like we get so
Right.
many different answers. Like there's no consensus, right? So I want to know, what do you think? So if you had to pick, like, are you for extending 3-minute rounds? Are you for keeping it 2-minute rounds? Or if you extend it 3-minute rounds, quote unquote, pay me more? Because we also hear that one. So like, where do you
Um,
stand?
you definitely wouldn't hear the pay me more part of it, only because in order for us to get more, we have to keep fighting, right? Like if we sit back and just say pay me more, people are just like, no, we're not gonna pay you more. We'll keep you at 2 minutes. So what? Someone has to step up and say, let's do this, and be the ones to kind of like sacrifice themselves in order to get for us females to get those bigger paydays. And if you ask me 3 or 2 minutes, I say 3 minutes, just for, I guess, personal reasons. I think me as a fighter would benefit me more. Um, I know I'm better for those later rounds. Maybe
Right.
first round, I'm always kind of adjusting. Second round, um, for myself, it would benefit me more.
Yeah.
Are you how do you feel about fighting? Like, I mean, you're already used to fighting overseas as an amateur, but as a pro, a lot of pros have that reservation about going overseas. How do you feel about going overseas, or do you want to stay New York, Florida, Puerto Rico, like,
Um,
or would you be willing to go to, like, let's say Europe somewhere, if it means it's a big fight?
yes, I definitely would if it's a big fight, definitely. I love traveling. I love putting myself out wherever I can, whether it's in the States or in another country. But I would love to fight in Dubai. Well, I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about a fight, but I'll go to Dubai. You know what I mean? I'll just go
Yeah,
chill over
yeah.
there for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I'll
don't have to
just
fight,
chill. You know.
No, no, I'm definitely all for it. Fighting home is great, and I love it, and I hope to keep getting those opportunities. But if the chance comes up to fight overseas and it's worth it for me, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I want to ask you also to go back to the Olympic Games that just ended over in Tokyo.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
had two gold medal hopefuls in Keyshawn Davis and Richard Torres fight over the weekend. Now, both
Right.
unfortunately came up short. Both got silver medals, which is that's nothing to be upset about. I mean, silver
Right.
medal is a great accomplishment, but of course you want the gold when you get to that point. What were your thoughts on those two fights? Because those two fights were very close. A little bit of controversy in the super heavyweight one. But what did you
Right.
make of? I want to ask you first about the Davis versus Cruz fight. Now the Cubans, my gosh, those guys are such great boxers in the amateurs. You know, they really know
Yes.
what they're doing there. So he had a tough fight. What were your thoughts on his fight?
So they've fought before, and every time they fought, the fight was always extremely close. The Cuban won. The Cubans, they perfected that amateur system. But I think for Keyshawn, he did good in the system, but I think it's going to be even better for him in the pros. And it would be nice to see them fight in on a pro stage later on in their careers together. And I think it would be a different outcome for Keyshawn. And then as far as Richard's tough. He has so much heart, and it was so heartbreaking for me to watch him not get his hand raised up, especially against that specific opponent who earlier on, when was it, 2 years ago, knocked him out,
Yeah.
and it was pretty a vicious knockout. Um,
Yeah.
so I was really cheering for them, and actually we had three gold medal potentials. Duke Reagan as well, who
Right.
also
Right.
fought a close fight with them, and they're all great fighters. And I think with the American team, like, I mean, it's always been like this. The style is more of a pro style, um, because we get, trained in the Americas. The goal is to turn pro. Of course, it is to go to the Olympics, but the ultimate goal is for them to be world champions in the pro. And I think that's what their coaches kind of set them up for, and their styles will benefit them better in the pros.
You know, I was very disappointed in the heavyweight one or super heavyweight, because I forgot the dude's name, his opponent, Torres' opponent, but he was holding like way too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like way
Right,
too. And then like the
Yeah.
ref would tell Torres, "Hey, like what do you
Keep your
mean,
head
bro?
up,
He's not
yeah.
bending below the waist or some shit. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?"
so
So
yeah,
yeah,
so go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, that was my point. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so I was talking to G Funky about this. Like, with the officials, I think there's a lot of confusion on how to judge fights and how to ref them. And then you have some judges who look for certain things in fighters, and if it could be to your benefit or it's not. And in Richard's case, it wasn't. For some reason, that judge only saw Richard putting his head down. He didn't recognize the holding or think it was such a bad thing. But again, I think that has to do with the officials not being taught properly, or I think there's a lot of confusion with how to judge an amateur fight nowadays, and that's why you see so many robberies.
Well, it sounds like ref. It's a boxing
Right.
fight. The Greco-Romans in the other room, right?
Right.
What are we doing?
I've been in a fight where the girl was literally grabbing me and flinging me, and the
What?
ref kept, signaling to me that I was putting my head down. It's the
Oh,
same
jeez.
thing. But she was like literally like throwing me down to the floor the whole fight, and I kept my cool, but it was just so frustrating, and it happens very often.
Well, it's especially frustrating in an amateur fight because it's only 3 rounds. So if
Yep.
you're holding
Right. And
15 times a round, you know,
exactly. You don't have that time to be able to adjust and not allow that person to be able to do that. Like maybe use more movement in the later rounds, or
right.
maybe that fighter will get tired from holding. But it's not in the case of the amateurs.
It was also such a great fight up until he called the 8 count,
Right.
and then he
Hmm.
kind of ruined the fight because now it's like, okay,
Right.
now he needs to get a knockout to win, and the other dude just kept
Hmm.
he just kept holding him the whole time, and it kind of
Right.
ruined
Right.
what could have been a great fight. Maybe he wins anyway, but it would have been a much tougher fight, I believe, if he felt he had to
Right.
throw more punches to win, But I don't know.
Yeah. So an 8 count in the amateurs is not supposed to count as a huge difference in scoring unless you get like
About safety,
2 or 3
right?
in one round. Yeah, it's more about safety, but on the mental side of it for the fighter, it's just like, oh shit, now I got to get that back, and it just kind of throws you off your game plan.
You're not gonna. It's how likely are you to win a round if the ref stopped it for your safety to count to 8? Like that. Like if it's a toss up round and then they stop it for an 8 count, they're gonna perceive that like
Of course.
subconsciously as like he lost that round. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's if it's close, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I would if I was a judge, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I want to ask you about the pro ranks now. We had a fight this weekend.
Okay.
The blonde bomber who's been, making a lot of noise recently. She
Right.
had a fight this weekend. Did you get a chance to see her?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to see her at all. I do know of her, through social media, and I did see highlights from one of her past fights. She's a very aggressive fighter, correct?
Yes, he
Right.
is.
Yeah, very tough. But I didn't get to watch that fight.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna ask what your thoughts were on her performance because yeah, she is very, very
Okay.
aggressive, and like you said, your style, you're more of a defensive fighter. So,
Mhm,
um,
mhm.
I was just gonna ask what a potential matchup would look like, because we have
Yeah.
the some. Go ahead, go ahead.
What weight does she fight?
118, I think.
Yeah,
Bantamweight.
118. Oh, okay, I'm 112. Yeah, that could definitely be a potential matchup in the future.
Yeah, at
Um,
some point.
but I have saw her fight before with the aggression. She's very aggressive. She could take a lot of shots. Um, she's definitely someone I would use my length with if we ever had to fight.
There you go.
oh yeah. Well, that's a fight that we would definitely be looking forward to, and
People love to see that like brawler and boxer kind of
Yeah,
I
that,
love
that,
fight.
that
I
actually
love that.
would be an interesting fight, but she wants that rematch with Shannon Courtney for whatever reason. I
Hmm.
think probably because
Hmm.
that's her best shot at a title as of right now.
Right. Hmm.
But a 112 though, I mean, there's definitely you know a lot of smoke there too. So we'll,
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean,
definitely.
obviously it's one step at a time. You still got to get a
Yes.
6 rounder in anyway. Like I don't even think you can
Right,
fight for a
right.
world title anyway until you have like a 8 round or something, right? Like I think isn't that like a rule?
Yeah, I think you have to have an 8 rounder first. I don't know if it's one or two 8 rounders, and I don't know if it varies by state, but that's what I was told.
Yeah, but Lomachenko was allowed to have a world title fight in the second fight. Yeah, I
Right,
mean,
Was
you
right.
he?
wanna,
Yeah,
yeah,
Well, it
he
wasn't
fought
the third
yeah.
fight?
He
second.
won it in the third fight, but
Oh,
he
it's
got
second.
a shot at the title in the second and
Oh
lost.
yeah,
Yeah,
he lost. He lost. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
Serious
interesting.
Alito.
So his first fight, what was it? Was it a 6 rounder, 8 rounder?
his first fight, I think they scheduled it for 10 rounds. Actually, I could be wrong, but he
Oh
finished the guy
wow.
off like in 3 rounds. You know,
Right.
Yeah, they
and he
moved him
finished him
very
up pretty
quickly.
easily.
Hmm.
This is a guy ranked like 50th on BoxRec or something. And he like dispatched him easily, and
Okay.
then he's like, I want to fight for the title, like but they don't have these rules
Right.
for the men, like you gotta fight 2 8 rounders first, you know what I mean, and then
I
you have
know.
to fight for the title. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it does depend on
Yeah,
the
I
stick.
mean, right, exactly. And did he even fight in the United States for that fight? Was it in Las Vegas?
Yes,
Yes, that was
Yeah,
in
I
I
Los
think all his
Angeles, I
fights have been
believe.
in the U.S.
Yeah, so
Oh,
far.
okay.
No, he
His
fought
pro debut was the undercard of Marquez Bradley. His pro debut.
Yes, I
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah. So I don't think Loma's ever fought. He fought Luke Campbell in
Luke
England, but that's
Campbell in
about
the
it.
UK. Yeah, from what I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What about the
yeah, they've been.
UK? You want to fight in the UK? Like a pro fight with a crowd? Like they're gonna be singing for the opponent. You know what I mean? But like you know what
I
I mean?
know. Of course, I'll do it. Let's go. Let's go to UK and make some fans over there.
That's
There you
it.
go.
That's it. And you know something? With your style, I feel like you would gain, no disrespect to the fight fans here. We have great fight fans here, but I feel like over in the UK they appreciate the more boxing type style, As we're
Technical
here,
style.
yes, more fight fans here on this side of the pond will call that boring and all kind of other
Right.
stuff, which I don't subscribe to myself, but I feel like, that would be
Uh-huh.
a good move for you to have a couple fights over
I
there.
It would. And I would be totally down for it.
Yeah, just like you're down with HCP, right?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I mean that intro you guys had, I was over here like jamming to it the whole time. It's good. It's good.
She's doing
Yeah,
that slow
yeah.
nod like this, like this. Hey, so you already fought in the theater, right? you want to fight in a big house? I mean, I feel like that's an obvious question, but what are your thoughts about fighting in like even if it's on the undercard of a big event? You know what I mean? Just to be there at the
Right.
Garden, the big house.
That's a dream come true for me. Like I said, I grew up in that neighborhood. And I was able to fight in the theater a few times. That would be a dream come true. Oh, by the way, guys, I saw Michael Buffer, right?
I already know the story to this. I can't believe it.
Listen, we were together alone, right next to each other, nobody around us, nobody, and I froze up like a little bitch. I didn't ask for a picture, I didn't say hello or anything, I just froze.
What was he doing the whole time?
man.
Was he just like staring aimlessly or something, or what? Like what?
No, he was just there with his stoic kind of posture, just like
Look how she's describing him,
just like-
stoic. Did he announce your name?
He's a
though? Did he announce your
smooth
name?
operator. No, that is
What?
another one that's a dream come true.
Oh,
He only did the
man.
heavyweight, and then he did the verses right after. So he announced Michael Hunter's fight with Wilson, and
Right.
then he did the Locks versus Dipset intro as well.
I mean, you could have asked him to announce your name, but then he would like send you an invoice or something. You know what I mean?
Like 10 mil, right?
Here you go. I need a meal right there. Like what? Like but
He's
Yeah.
getting paid crazy just to say, "Let's get ready to rumble."
he's got that
Man, and
voice. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. And I didn't get a picture with him. I'm so mad at myself. I didn't know what to say. And normally I would not act like that. I never thought I'd be like kind of starstruck by somebody, but he's a smooth operator.
So you could go in there, you could duke it out with somebody, throw punches, but when it says, "Hey, what's up, Michael Buffer?" That was a little too much. No, well, I mean, look, obviously he's a popular figure, Michael Buffer, right? Man.
Right.
So obviously there's a Garden. Besides the Garden, right?
Mhm.
Well, what are 3 places Christina Cruz wants to fight in, like an arena or like a city or something as a pro? Where would you like to fight?
Las Vegas, of course, New York, maybe Staples Center, California, Dubai. I know they've hosted over the
Yeah.
pandemic a few fights over there. So yeah, those are my places.
Dubai. Speaking of New York, I mean, that'll be something like imagine like Xander Zayas, Berlanga, yourself,
No.
some other like
Oh my
at a big
gosh.
event in the future. It can
Ooh.
happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The Puerto Rican Day Parade, which is the biggest parade in New York City, it's always held in June. But because of the pandemic, these past 2 years, they didn't have it. But that would be great to be able to fight on a card like that in New York City. Miguel Cotto always used to do it every year during that time.
Yeah.
Yep. Have you met Felix Trinidad?
Who?
Felix
Felix Trinidad. No, I
So
haven't met him.
you have to make ACP a promise right now.
Yeah.
If you're ever in a room with Felix Trinidad, that you're not gonna chicken out, and you're gonna
I won't chicken out.
You're gonna warm it up. You're gonna be
Buffer,
like,
guys.
"Oh, Trinidad, how are you?" Like you're not gonna chicken out. You're gonna say hi to him and all that good stuff. I'll take a picture.
I will take a picture and I'll tell him to give you a shout out if I see him, which I'm pretty sure I'll
that'd be
see.
beautiful. That'd be beautiful
Yeah.
because growing
Uh-huh.
up, Tito was my favorite fighter as a teenager.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm sure you could imagine how that was. Me being a young Mexican fight fan in the Mexican community, and my
Right.
favorite fighter is a Puerto Rican. And then
Oh my
he's beating-
God, your
he's
family
beating
must
all
have
the
been-
Mexican fighters too.
It's all right.
It was
A lot
great
of
times.
people didn't like Oscar though, so they by default
Right.
like Tito. So
one of the first fights I ever watched was him versus De La Hoya during that time, and I remember being in the living room with my dad and my uncles and my granddad, and they're just like cheering him on the whole time, and we know the outcome of that.
Oh yeah, we sure do. I
Yeah.
your
remind you
style's a
so
little
much.
closer to De La Hoya though, pumping a jab,
Yeah.
on your toes.
Right.
I'm saying.
Was De La Hoya celebrated a little too early on that one, but watching it now as somebody who knows boxing, I look at it maybe a little different.
Right.
Right.
Tell Oscar, you got to run through the tape, man. All right, you can't just get to the finish line and say you got to run through the tape. All right.
Right.
Oh, but this has been great. Like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know it's late for you, and you're gonna get back in the gym. Look at her; she's already off her first win. She's getting back in the gym, man. I love that. That just shows the dedication. She's ready for big
Right.
things.
Thank
Hey, by the
you.
way, I saw that question because you're posting questions on your story. It's really quick. Like
Yeah.
somebody really asked you, like if you stitched up your own self.
I know, like imagine me sitting there. I'm scared of needles as it is, and just like imagine me like that's like really barbaric.
Yeah, you should have said you did. Just to. I think you did actually, didn't you?
Right. No. I was just like imagine if I did.
That would be badass. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Like, hey, you hear
Some
Christina
people
Cruz?
ask, yeah, some people ask, and a lot of the questions I don't actually post because I get some weird questions.
What, on the internet?
Oh,
No.
I could imagine. But yes, this has been a great interview, and like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your time. We had you ready for about 40 minutes, and I know it's late where you're at. So, Christina Cruz, before you go, let the fans out there know where they can find you, social media, and you guys behave yourselves out there, all right? When you follow her, wherever it's at, but go ahead and let the fans know where they can find you.
Guys, thank you for having me on. You could find me on Instagram at Christina Cruz Box, which is right there on the screen, and you can also find me on Twitter at Christina Boxing.
Well, there it
Sounds
is, right
good.
there. Christina Cruz, I thank you for coming on and giving us your time, and good luck in the future. And we hope to have you back on HCP in the future as well.
Thank you, definitely. Thank you guys for always showing me love and having me on the show.
Anytime.
Have a
That's
good one.
Christina Cruz, everyone. Big shout out to
All
her
right, good
for
night,
coming
guys.
on. Good night. Big shout out to her for coming on. Big win coming out for her pro debut. Man, she's a good interview, man. And let's hope that she runs into Tito. This way I could get my my shout out from my childhood favorite fighter. You know what I'm saying? So D Style, my man. You ready to cook on some topics, man, that we got going on here tonight?
Well, I'm ready to cook. I got the grill ready. Like it's already like it's ready to go. Like, you know what I mean? So let's do this. Shout out to Christina Cruz. By the way, for those listening, make sure you tune in tomorrow for Christy Martin, which will be on tomorrow.
Big show.
And that should be something there. So make sure you guys check that out. You know what I mean? So, and for those, anyone that has any questions for Christy Martin, I want to do like some video questions. So if you have any, send them to me. dstyleboxing@gmail. You know what I mean? And I'll showcase some of those if you guys have them and all that good stuff.
Absolutely, man. And that's going to be a huge show, guys. Trust me, you don't want to miss Christy Martin tomorrow. The Hall of Famer, the promoter, the trendsetter of women's boxing. Back in the day, she was on some great undercards. Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, Felix Trinidad. Great undercards. So let's go ahead and get into this first topic, man. Canelo, there's a lot of news that came out about Canelo this weekend. Eddie Hearn came out and said that it was possible that he was going to get a fight with Dimitri Bivol at a catchweight. Now, D-Style, you did a video on it. I did a video on it. We both dropped our opinions on what we thought about the fight, or about the possible fight at a catchweight. So now we're hearing that he's going to push the date back. So no September 18th date this year. Looking like November, possibly another Dia de los Muertos weekend, which is fine. That's another Mexican holiday. Not Independence Day, but, a holiday in Mexico.
Dia de los Muertos, perfect for Plant. Perfect.
Right? Yes. So I want to share something real quick with you guys that I seen just before we went live. Let me go ahead and grab that real quick, because I don't know what this means. I always say talk is cheap, but we got something from a Mr. Caleb Plant here on Twitter, and he says at the bottom, you don't get these for no reason. and he's got 3 mouth guards there. They say undisputed on them. D-Style, in your opinion, do you think this means that the fight will happen November this year?
Look, I'm cautiously optimistic with boxing all the time. I don't like to get overly exaggerate. I mean, excited for things, but the fact that they didn't just get anybody and just make a fight on September and said, you know what? At the end of the day, like there's no rule that says you got to fight on September 18th. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like a barrier that you don't necessarily need. Although, would it be great to have Canelo Alvarez fight on Mexican Independence Day weekend? Absolutely. I think situations have caused a problem with that this year. Whatever happened. Last year was the pandemic. So a lot of things have gotten in the way. And then the year before that, I mean, he had to sign with DAZN and he was trying to, get a fight set up, and he ended up doing it with Kovalev, but Kovalev had a prior, engagement with Yard. But anyway, I would love to see, the fight, but like mouth guards don't mean anything. I could buy those mouth guards on Amazon right now if I want. What the fuck is that? What does that mean?
But you don't get those for no reason, all right? That's what he's saying.
You don't get these made for no reason. Like I don't give a fuck why you got it made, how you got it made. It doesn't fucking matter, bro. Like, here's the deal, man, okay? I want fighters that get paid, bro, but if it's making it difficult for fights to get made, then I don't like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, Plant, just take your money, because I don't want to talk about the money. Guys, I don't want to talk about what they're making. I want them to agree and let's get the show on, right? Like that.
Exactly.
They don't want to talk about who's going to win, break down the fight, let's get all that, right? But we're stuck talking about this because it's just a starting point. Like, just take the money, bro. Canelo needs to put his foot down, dude, and start really acting like an A-side. And it's not because of any other reason other than it doesn't make, for whatever reason, it doesn't make the fights easier to make when you try to be flexible with these dudes, apparently. It just doesn't. It makes the fights more difficult to make. When did you see Mayweather like, oh, okay, I'll go over to your networks, bro. Okay, let me go ahead and do that. When did you see any quote-unquote A-side move mountains like that? No, when you give somebody an inch, you try to take a mile. Okay, be straightforward. Just say, "Hey, yo, I got $10 million for you. You want to fight? Yes or no? Here on DAZN." That's it. It makes things far less complicated, right? Everyone understands what's going on, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
as simple as that. Like that. That's all I want to hear. I just want to hear about the fight. That's it. About the offer, and if Plant doesn't want it, right? Stop moving mountains for it. Then fight Bivol. Just don't do it at a catchweight, though.
Right.
That's all that. Fight Bivol. You can get other guys involved. Tell Better Beef, hey, you want to start a negotiation? If they know you're negotiating with more than one person, guess what they're going to do? Okay, I'll take it. If they know you're the only one they're negotiating with, they're going to take advantage of that. Okay? Just one quick example. When Mayweather offered the fight to Robert Guerrero, right? They offered him I think it was $4 million. Robert Guerrero was trying to play hardball, right? From the Mayweather account, Mayweather Promotions, they tweeted out to him, we already have somebody else ready to take the money, sign the contract, or we're moving on. They made it that simple. Like, we're not going to play these games. Just sign, or we're gonna fight somebody else. That's all it is. Just make it simple. It'll be simple for us to follow. You know how difficult it is to follow? Like, Eddie Hearn offered this, but then he wanted to go over here, and but he wants this over here. But okay, but let's go back over here. No, bro, you're the A side. You call the shots. You make the offer. That's it. All right. I mean, that'll be my recommendation, because it's going to make the fight happen. And you know what you do? You get Bivol, you get Plant, you get Better Beef, you get other guys, and you say, which one of you wants it? Who wants the damn fight? Okay. No, but nothing. This guy's going to sign. Boom, boom, done. That's it. All right? Simple as that.
Yeah. I'm going to say this real quick, because, you know, he makes the tweet, takes the pictures of the mouth guards that say undisputed. You know, you don't get these for no reason. Great. Then make this shit count, Plant. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, make it count. All right, do whatever it is you got to do to make the fight happen because we're all ready for undisputed. Every single one of us over here on HCP, you know, we're the ones that push for undisputed all the time. You know, we don't pick and choose when we want it. You know, we call for it all the time. You know, and shame on you guys out there for trying to shame Canelo because he didn't want to be, you know, tied down to a network. You know, last time I checked, when your favorite fighter was offered a multi-deal, right? A multi-fight deal to another network that included undisputed, you guys said no, don't do it. It's a bad move, bad business move, right? But when it comes to someone like Canelo, nah, he's a duck. He's a duck because you didn't take it, you know? And I think you guys know who I'm talking about, you know? So let's just keep the same energy, all right? If you're all for undisputed, then stick with that, okay?
A lot of these PBC fanboys, right? Because unfortunately, guys, we live in an era where networks have fans. You know, like I don't know why, but it is what it is, right? So PBC fanboys, and by the way, G-Funky, I'm not even saying they're wrong about this, that they were wrong, because you know why? I was here and I agreed, okay?
Yep.
A lot of the PBC dudes were saying that, and it was a good point, by the way. I just want to make sure people understand that I agree with this point. Wait a minute, you want Wilder to fight AJ, but you want to tie him down to a multi-fight contract? Why can't you two just make the fight? And it was for undisputed, by the way, right? Mm-hmm. No. Hey, if he wants to fight AJ, he's got to sign a 3-fight contract with his own, and it'll be 2 fights with Joshua, and it'll be one with Brazil, and all this other stuff, right? Now, granted, if a fighter wants to take that deal, I'm not even saying they don't have a right to propose that deal, but you know, a lot of people were saying that no, why should Wilder sign a multi-fight contract and do that bullshit, right? Right. And he actually fought Brazil for less money than he was offered on the zone, by the way, in a multi-fight deal.
And Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Plus, it was bullshit, right? It was bullshit. What do you mean you want to tie him down to a multi-fight deal? But so now Canelo Alvarez is saying the same thing. Look, this fight's for undisputed. I want to fight Caleb Plant. Okay, he's going to make $10 million. Let's go. Oh, no, you come over here and you do a multi-fight deal. And bro, let me tell you something. Why is if it was only for one fight, right? And that's it. If that's true, why was Coppinger reporting, right, that it was a 2-fight deal and it was gonna be a like a stay busy fight in December, right? Mm-hmm. And then why is David Benavidez doing interviews out here saying that he was told he was a second fight?
Yeah.
Why is that happening?
He said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like people focus on Canelo ducked Benavidez, or Benavidez said he doesn't know why Canelo turned down $40 million. Well, maybe Benavidez is asking himself that question, but nonetheless, he also said that he was a second fight. Why is David Benavidez being told you're the second fight when the negotiations are between Canelo and Caleb Plant for undisputed? What does David Benavidez have anything to do? And that's not saying I don't want to see the David Benavidez fight. But what I'm saying is, number one, Caleb Plant has to ask himself, Al, why are you already planning a second fight for Canelo? Like, you don't think I'm going to win or what? That's number one. Second, why is he being told this? You know what I mean? No, just like Wilder said no to the zone, doing a multi-fight deal with them, just like that. Canelo has a right to say no to PBC and say, I just want to do this 1-fight deal. And what's wrong with that, guys? What's wrong with that?
Nothing at all.
You don't see Canelo. Do you see Canelo's side, the zone, saying, oh, we want Plant for a 3-fight deal? Do you see that? I don't see that.
Yep. And I want to say this. There's somebody in the chat asking for a link. Here's what I'm going to say to you. You're going to wait till the end of the show. I'm going to put my email at the bottom of the screen. You email me, you'll get a link. And you turn your camera on, okay? You see my cameras on. You see D Styles cameras on. All right, cameras are on around here. We don't hide behind advertising.
Cameras
all right?
on, cameras on. Do, 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 do. Like that song. You remember that song?
My
Let's make it
boys
right.
in the chat, Mr. Pound for Pound Fight Corner says Benavidez is the only problem out there for Canelo right now. I agree 100%. I think he gives him the best fight right now at 168 pounds out of everybody that's there. Berlanga is a guy who's still very young. You know, he's got to improve. Who knows how good he'll be in the next couple of years. But he's got potential, you know. But as of right now, I agree. El Bandera Roja, definitely the toughest fight out there for Canelo. So, yeah, we'll see, man. You know, I hope that Plant's posting these mouth guards with Undisputed means something. And, you know, we're going to find out sooner or later if we'll get
I want Plant, bro. Like I want him to get $10 million, bro. Like I'm happy for a fighter when he makes his money. You know what I mean? I want you to get that bread, bro. I want you to get the money. And then you're gonna have an opportunity. Like set the money aside, right? You're gonna have an opportunity for greatness. Yeah. Like you get to participate in a fight for Undisputed when you didn't even do all the work for it. Canelo did all the work for you already. You get to participate in that. You get to fight for legacy. You get to fight a guy many consider number one pound for pound. Imagine if you beat him. Everything that comes with that. Let's put money aside for a moment. Because you know why? Because he said, remember he said he doesn't care about the money? Oh, yeah. I'm built different. I don't care about the money. I just want to fight for greatness. Okay, well there it is.
Walk across the street to the zone. If you don't care about that, you know, take that walk. All right. That's what we used to say back in my neighborhood. If you know, if you want to throw down, hey, let's go take a walk then. Me and you, 1-on-1, you know, fuck everybody else around here. Let's take that walk. So Plant,
right.
You gotta take that walk. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see if we can get that fight for Undisputed on Dia de los Muertos this year. So
absolutely.
Yeah, let's switch topics now. More news comes out today in regards to the lightweight king of boxing. I'm talking about Teofimo, the Takeover Lopez. Now, this is according to Dan Rafael. Almost said of ESPN, but he doesn't work for ESPN anymore. But he's there for such a long time, you know.
What's he with now? Like, does anybody know where's that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But this is
like
to him.
worldwidenews.net or some shit like that. I'm joking. I saw some shit like that.
That's right. He says here, breaking. IBF has ruled on Lopez Kambosos. It will not default Triller's purse bid. Fight must take place by October 17th. Must take place in a location and venue that does not require quarantine. Signed contracts may be submitted to the IBF within 15 days. If Triller fails to submit signed contracts by August 24th, bid will be defaulted and rights go to the bidder, which is Matchroom, which will have 90 days to do the fight. If Lopez doesn't comply with the order, title is vacated. If Kambosos did not comply with Lopez, may begin talks with an IBF contender. So, as far as our understanding goes, you have to quarantine 14 days if you're going to travel to Australia, which the fight was rumored to be held at after Teofimo caught COVID. So that's off of the list now. Okay, we can't fall back on that. You haters out there who like to hate on Teofimo about every little thing he does. Okay, we can't say that he's ducking the fight because they're saying this is the IBF's ruling. This is not Teofimo's ruling.
Come on, really ducking Kambosos, really?
Yeah, I've heard it all. He's scared. He faked COVID because he's afraid and all this other bullshit. Look, the fight has to take place here in the USA, you know, from what I understand. And, you know, let's get this thing on, man. Let's get it over with. Ironically, the fight has to be done by the 17th of October, which was the same date that he won against Lomachenko for you know, for the belts there at 135. So, look, we kept it consistent with this topic, okay? And there's a lot of people out there that are questioning HCP's integrity, you know, and things like that. But look, we kept it honest, okay? We gave our honest thoughts about Canelo at the catchweight. D-Style and myself, we've said it for years here on YouTube, long before HCP even existed, that we both don't like catch weights, okay? So we said the same thing when it came to Canelo, all right? We had Teofimo Sr. on here on HCP before. You know, they were all for going to Australia, you know, at a time, but now it's being ordered that it can't be held there, okay? So we're not going to hold that against them for that. This is the IBF's ruling, and that's all we can say. Right, D-Style?
Well, it is the IBF ruling. You know, I here's what I'll say, man. I just want to see this. Like, first of all, does it matter where the fight happens? Like first of all, like the fight's gonna be the fight, right? Like, regardless. I just want to see this fight happen already, bro. It's holding up the division. Like, it just is. Yes, like, I want shit to let's get going. Come on. It's been a year now, bro, since this dude's fought. Let's go. The same with Kambosos. He hasn't fought in forever. Let's go. Let's just do this fight already. You know what I mean?
Here we go.
So there you go. Look, at the end of the day, look, the IBF make the ruling. Let's say you disagree with it. So what are you going to do if you disagree with it? Like they make the ruling. So, like, the fight should just happen. It doesn't matter what happens to me, honestly. I don't care where it happens. I just want to see the fight. I already know Loma's going to knock him out. I'm sorry. I don't know Teofimo's going to knock him out.
Yeah, he's going to beat him.
I already know the result. I just want to see the fight already, bro.
Yeah.
Like, do I think it's going to be a little tougher than people think? Yes. But ultimately, I know who the winner is. You know?
Yep. I think it's a pretty simple fight to break down. You know, obviously it's different to go in there and get the job done, you know, but as from the outside looking in, from a guy like myself who's, you know, I would say I'm pretty good at breaking a fight down. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten a lot of good fights, good predictions that turned out to be right. So I'm just going to say this, style-wise, you know, I see a lot of things that Teofimo Lopez can take advantage of when it comes to Kambosos. Now, the prediction video will be out. Don't worry about that. But I agree, D-Style. This fight is holding up the division. Let's get it out the way, and then let's get another fight, man.
Let's go.
Credit to the IBF for clearing all this stuff up, and let's get this thing on and get it out of the way, man. Let's sweep it under the rug. Now, the final topic of the night, and I saved it for last because I feel like this is going to be a really good and in-depth breakdown that we're going to do here. We got the young phenom, the best fighter that I think is coming out of Golden Boy these days, Vergil Ortiz Jr. stepping it up once again, man. Every time this kid fights, the level of competition goes up. It goes up. It goes up. And no exception this time. Now he just beat Mo Hooker in a really good, entertaining fight. He was coming off of COVID. You know, he just revealed that in an interview last week. And now he's taking on the Mean Machine Kavalaskis, whose only claim to fame so far has been to give Terrence Crawford a little bit of trouble, get a knockdown. That wasn't called a knockdown, but I think it was a legit knockdown. Crawford gets up and dismantles him, stops him within the next couple rounds. But, you know, he did do some good work. He did give Crawford some good work in there. But this is a big step up for Vergil Ortiz. If he wins, there's a possible fight there with Terrence Crawford. And by the way, for you guys out there who were hating on the video that we put up with Bruce Trampler from Top Rank, where he said there was no talks of a fight between Crawford and Ortiz. We even asked Roberto Diaz the same question, who is the matchmaker for Vergil Ortiz's promotional company. He says there was no talk. So look, just kill that noise, all right? we didn't destroy it. We didn't talk to the people that make the fights. It was never happening, okay? The man was already signed to fight Kavalaskis, and he's going to follow through with it this Saturday night. So D-Style, give me your thoughts, man. How do you see this fight going, and who do you think is going to win?
Well, first of all, I think this is a great fight. Let me start off by saying that Vergil Ortiz going in there against the Mean Machine, Cavalier, you know what I mean? He's going to go in there and do his thing, but Virgil really does sound like a dude out of a Terminator movie. You know what I mean? Like we sent Virgil back in time, and the Terminator's coming after him. You know what I mean? And then he's got to beat him, in order to get a title shot or some shit like that, like some weird Terminator movie type shit. But I got to tell you, man. Okay. I am definitely looking forward to that. Now, before I do that, go ahead and address the super chat there before I go.
Got you. Another $4.99 from Nando Yama. It says this weekend of boxing better than the following weekend. Spence Pack. I would think so because there's more fights. Now I'm excited for the Spence Pacquiao fight, but undercard is not too good. As to where we got Ortiz. We've got Rigo Casimero. We got Franco versus Maloney 3 all this weekend. So I would say this weekend is better.
Hey, Robert Guerrero versus Ortiz, bro. What do you mean? You're not looking forward to that fight?
I know. I better not say that, man. The Mad Dog might show up, man.
So, Virgil Ortiz, man, I do think is in for a fight for the first, I would say, 3 or 4 rounds. It's going to be a fight. It's not going to be easy. I think, brace yourself, guys. Okay, just brace yourself. Virgil's going to get hit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying he's going to get hit. And who knows? Maybe after 4 rounds, most people might have Mean Machine up. I don't know. I think it'll be about even. But I just think Virgil's going to take over. Mm-hmm. Mean Machine does this thing that I don't think he can do against Virgil, right? And maybe that's why they call him a machine. First, he starts to loop his punches and throws them in combinations like this, right? That's what he does. Once in a while, he'll shoot a straight, and then he mixes it up sometimes. He'll hook and then hook again, or watch it. It's like hook. You know what I mean? So he can mix it up. He go or he could go like this. You know what I mean? But that's how he's throwing his punches. Go look at the film, guys. I'm not exaggerating. That's how he throws his punches. Now they're hard and they're thudding, and if they land, it could hurt anybody. Hell, that was a knockdown against Crawford, right?
Yeah.
But once Crawford made it sound more compact, bladed his body more, right, shortened his shots down the pipe, it was a wrap. Once he did that, you know what I mean? And of course, Crawford can also loop the punches too, but to me, Mean Machine, I just think he's going to be getting hit to the body by Virgil, who is a monster body puncher. Okay. Now, Mean Machine's no stranger to body punching either, but he's going to get a boxing lesson in terms of el gancho al hígado. Okay. Virgil Ortiz is going to take him to school at the school of body punching, and he's going to be wearing him down from round 1. Okay. He's going to be hitting the body. And I think Mean Machine is going to run out of gas within around the 5th or 6th round. And I think at that point, it's going to become a one-sided fight. Virgil's jab, by the way, is very underrated. He's got, again, really good body work. I think his hook, he's going to be landing the hook on Mean Machine coming in. He's got a really good straight. His punches are sharper than Mean Machine's. He is going to wear him down, is what he's going to do. Okay? He is going to wear Mean Machine down, and he's going to take him out somewhere around a 10th or 11th round. That's how I personally see the fight, right? So even the fights where that Mean Machine wins, man, like I just see holes there. Just a lot of guys can't take advantage of it. I think everyone's going to find out this fight that Virgil has a hell of a chin. Okay. He's going to get hit. And I do predict that after he beats him, channels are going to come on here and, Virgil gets hit too much and, and all this other shit. But look, that's the type of style he has. And that's the type of style that's going to wear down Mean Machine. So I got Virgil Ortiz, 10th or 11th round stoppage, wearing him down to the body, and then he'll finish him up upstairs with a hook or something. Oh, not to mention the uppercuts, because Virgil's uppercuts are vicious. And I mean, when she tries to come in, looping that way, ducking his head down, that uppercut's going to kill him. It's going to be a killer in the second half of that fight.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to mention it myself. Stefan here with a question says people didn't give Crawford credit for beating Green Machine. So what happens if he goes well against Ortiz? Are people going to give Crawford credit or say Ortiz is nothing? I think you're going to see a little bit of both, to be honest with you. You know, but look, Kavalauskas is a good fighter, man. Look, we just mentioned, you know, he had some very good spots against Crawford and was able to touch him. So if he touches Ortiz, like it's not going to surprise me. He was able to hit one of the best fighters in the division and hurt him. Well, I shouldn't say hurt him, but at least knocked him down. You know, and it didn't get called by the referee. Long live boxing. What's going on? He says, can't wait to see Virgil Ortiz back in action against Mean Machine live at the Star in Fresco, Texas. Can't wait. Exactly, man. We can't wait. And that's why we're sitting here and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to say this, man. You know, I'm going to roll with Virgil Ortiz in this fight. And I just feel like, you know, overall, he's got more tools in the tool bag than Kavalauskas. Now, again, you don't always necessarily have to have the most tools in the tool bag to win a fight. We've seen it plenty of times, you know. But I just feel in this case, some of the tools that Kavalauskas is lacking and the tools that Ortiz has are going to make the difference. One of them is the uppercut that D-Style just mentioned just before he was closed out his thoughts on the fight. That's one thing I noticed with Crawford. Once he started to let go of that uppercut, that's when he started to hurt Mean Machine. He was able to hit him with some shots, and Mean Machine was taking him well, you know, and he was even able to time Crawford. He's got good timing, Kavalauskas, so he's going to catch Virgil. No doubt about it. But like he said, he swings wide hooks, you know, keeps that head down, so he's open for those uppercuts to come straight in. Ortiz is really good at throwing those uppercuts. He can throw them off the jab as well. I think the jab is something that's going to give Kavalauskas some trouble. Once Crawford started to pump that jab a little bit, you started to see that ring generalship show up. That's what I think is going to happen here as well. I think you're going to see Ortiz take charge and become the ring general early in this fight. I think Virgil Ortiz's footwork is much better than Kavalauskas, although I wouldn't say Kavalauskas has bad footwork. He's very well balanced, keeps his feet planted very well, and he does that for a reason because the man's a power puncher. Every power puncher needs to have those feet planted in the ground to generate the kind of power that they want to hurt their opponent. Now, that could hurt, and that could be good for you. You know, I think in the case where guys have good feet and can throw good combinations, it's going to give guys like that trouble, you know. But, you know, he does have good timing, like I said, good power, and he's a tough guy. You know, and this is going to be Virgil's toughest test to date. I just think that, again, he's going to show that ring generalship early on, take control. He's going to come forward. Kavalauskas, to me, is more of a mid-range guy. You know, he needs a little bit of distance on those power shots to generate the kind of power he likes. I feel like if Ortiz can even stay on the outside, pop him with jabs, come in with body shots and, you know, hooks and things like that off the jab, or if he wants to get in close into the man's chest, I think he has a much better advantage there as well. Again, mid-range is, I think that's Mean Machine's real house is mid-range. So Ortiz is going to want to stay away from the mid-range as much as he can. That's where he can land those type of hooks, time you with straight right hands and things like that. I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. You know, I do anticipate a lot of chingazos landing in this one. And I do anticipate myself standing up and cheering at the end of this fight because I think it's going to be a hell of an entertaining fight. And I do see,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I do see
strap on.
I do see the young man, the young phenom, Virgil Ortiz, coming out on top in this one in a well-deserved, very entertaining fight, man. That's the way I see it.
Just for the sake of like getting it right, like Virgil Ortiz against Evek like, you know, there you go.
Shout out to Long Live Boxing with a super chat. Now we all know Virgil Ortiz Jr. is the man, but who do you feel is the better boxer right now between Virgil Ortiz or Jaron Boots Ennis? Well, I look at it like this, and thank you again for the super chat. I appreciate the support. And we got to get you guys on HCP Uncensored real soon, man. I'm going to reach out to you after the show is over. I'll say this, man. I think both are very, very talented. I've talked about both of these guys a lot going into the year. I wanted these two to be put on a collision course to have a big fight here at 147 pounds welterweight division. From what I heard and from what I've seen from Boots, I think he's going to move up to 154 pounds. So we might not get that fight at 150, at 147, maybe 154 in the future. For me, I think that both guys passed the eye test, but as far as proving themselves in the ring thus far, I got to give it to Ortiz as of right now. I think he's fought the better competition. He's beaten the better competition. Although Ennis looked, I mean, spectacular against Lipinets in his last fight. And I cannot wait to see him again in the ring. Yeah. Cannot wait to see him back in the ring again. But I would give the slight edge to Virgil as of right now because I feel like he's more experienced, more seasoned at this point. But both young guys are very good fighters, man, in my opinion.
So, like I guess the thing is that people will will be like, well, the better boxer is this guy, or like the term boxer has almost been hijacked to mean like a guy that fights on his toes and uses the jab and fights from a distance, and then like whoever. But like boxing is a sport, right, that encompasses different styles, different approaches to victory, etc. So I think for whatever reason, the term boxing has been hijacked to mean this one thing, right? Like, oh, just box them, be on the move. Well, somebody could box in mid-range. Somebody could box. Like, there's an art to boxing on the inside and then in body shots. Like, you know what I mean? But so I could see why some people say, oh, I think Boots Ennis is a better boxer than Virgil, right? Because of his style, the way he fights. You know what I mean? But I don't know if he's a better fighter. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. Like, in other words, if the question is who would win if they fight, you know what I mean? Right now, Virgil's just more proven to me. He's fought in better opposition. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people could say what they want about Mo Hooker. Mo Hooker's a better fighter, in my opinion, than Lipinets. Okay? Lipinets was like a dude that, like, freaking Mikey Garcia moved up to beat up before he moved on. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like I just don't understand why that victory, or why an undersized welterweight can impress people. For a guy Boots his age, is it impressive? Yes, but if we're comparing him to Virgil, who's made Orozco bend the knee, destroyed Mauricio Herrera, a guy who many feel beat Danny Garcia. I mean, just to beat Mo Hooker and in my opinion, in clear fashion, a former world champion, 140 pounds. I just think and Mo Hooker hits everybody. He was hitting Ramirez before Ramirez knocked him out. And Ramirez is a former unified champion. So, like, I just think he's fought better opposition. He's battle tested more. And then with G-Funky, man, I think down the line, 3-4 years down the line, yeah, they could get it on and they could fight. We'll find out.
Yep. And you know what I like?
Down here right now, they're saying they should fight right now, and that Virgil is ducking. Like based on what? What do you mean he's ducking? Like there hasn't been an offer. Like you know what I mean? And I know there hasn't been an offer.
Yeah,
all right.
It's just talk. That's all it is. Lennox was best here. Says Boots Ennis would beat Ortiz. I think this is what I like, man. I see a lot of people. Ortiz will win, Boots will win, Ortiz will win. That's what makes the fight great. That's what makes the fight a 50-50 fight. That's what makes the fight eventually a super fight. If these guys continue to go the way that I think both of them can go, the fact that we're getting so much back and forth between who would win, a lot of guys saying Ortiz, a lot of guys saying Boots. That's the correct buildup that we need for a big fight like that. That's what we need right there. I love it, man. I love that shit. Let's see here. Sergio 510 says, what do you feel about Zayas moving up to 154 this September 10th on the undercard of Valdez? I don't know, man. I mean, it's still early in his career. I think this might be his 10th fight. Who knows? He's been very active. Maybe he doesn't want to cut that extra weight. I mean, if you want to get things like this out of the way early, I'm fine with it. I don't have an issue with it. What do you think, D-Style?
Look, I mean, he knows his body, but and his team know the body. He's really, really young, so in your late teens, early 20s, you can just get a lot bigger. You know what I mean? And that's what he's experiencing right now. So I don't know if he's going to get to be a top contender on time. Not because of the lack of skill, but because his body's just outgrowing the division. You know what I mean? So, hey, look, we have several weight classes in boxing for a reason. If you outgrow it, it's okay. There's a division right above it. You know what I mean? So Xander, if he feels better at 154, by all means. He wouldn't be the first guy. Look, Canelo outgrew 147 before he was ready to challenge for a title. You know what I mean? It happens.
Yep.
So,
and he's a young man. He's he can continue to cut the weight. I think he's only 19 if he decides to. But
by the way, bro, well, look, 154 and 160. Like if you look at the landscape, like down the line, right? Like, I mean, from the Conor, I don't know how long Conor Benn's going to be at 147, but he might. I assume at some point he'll move up to one. Like the guys that are right now prospects at 147, they're going to be fighting 154 at some point. And middleweight, you have Conor Benn, Xander Zayas, Virgil, freaking Boots Ennis. Like, bro, we got a lot of great fighters, like, and a lot of fights that, if they happen, knock on wood, okay, down the line, like the future is bright. Like we have a lot of great talent out there.
Yes, we do. Now, look, I promised the guy we're through all the topics here. We got about 30 minutes or so. If you want to bring your ass on. Bring your ass on. You see the email rolling down there at the bottom. No excuses. I've already told you the rules. You email me, just email me 3 dots or just say link. You'll get a link. You show your face. You come on here, all right? No excuses. You show your damn face. You come on here. You can say anything you want to us. That's why it's called uncensored. Okay, I'm not going to censor you. So if you think we're weak, ask for the link. That's all I'm going to say. All right. In the meantime, we could take some Q&A from the chat. There was supposed to be somebody else who was supposed to come on from Twitter. I put that I was live. You guys know every single show I put out that I'm live on Twitter. I know he's seen it. He follows me, but he decided not to show up. So it is what it is, So
now, as far as the Conor Benn used to be a lightweight, okay, I get it, brother. Like who used to be a lightweight too when they started their career? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Like I don't like. At the end of the day, right now, Conor Benn is he's a contender. He hasn't fought for a world title yet. Like it's not out of the question that at some point he's going to be at 154. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. He's not gonna stay there his whole career, and he's young. We all know as you get older in age, you're gonna gain weight eventually. He's still a young man, only 18, 19. So
Xander's gonna Xander's like kind of behind in terms of like he's the next wave after like when Virgil and Boots are world champions. Xander's gonna be like where they are right now. You know what I mean? So, dude, we got some imagine Virgil Ortiz against Xander Zayas.
Yeah,
down the line,
possibility. Yeah, Steph in here asked another question. He says, "G Funky, what did you think of American super heavyweight getting a silver at the Olympic Games? I thought he fought well, but needed to throw more combinations." Yeah, we spoke about that with Christina Cruz, who was on with us earlier, and also want to give a big shout out to everybody listening on the podcast side, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. Help me out, D-Style. I got a bad memory with the rest of them.
Yeah, well, look, Spotify, iHeart, right? So just all those, Audio Boom. You guys can check that out. So you guys can listen to it when you're not. When you're out working or something and you want to listen on your earbuds or when you're running errands and stuff like that, while you're out and about, you can listen to the shows on audio form. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
and it'll help support us in another way as well. You know what I mean? And make it better for you. I mean, look, let me tell you guys something. I know we all have smartphones. I know it gets annoying when your battery's dying. You know what I mean? And YouTube drains the battery. It does. But if
Yeah.
you're listening on now you could pay the premium on, it's like $10 a month for the YouTube, and you can have the phone locked and it doesn't use as much battery. That's another option. But these other platforms, I mean, you can get it like that, not pay anything extra, like Spotify, iHeart. You can listen, have your phone locked, doesn't drain your battery, and listen to HCP. You know what I mean?
There you go. There you go. So my thoughts were this. Like I said, we spoke with Christina Cruz about it. She was an amateur for a really long time, so that's why I wanted to ask her about it, because obviously the Olympics are, the amateurs. Although there were some pros there fighting on the U.S. side, but I didn't like the way that the referee, first off, gave him an 8 count. And then not only that, deducted a point from him because he's putting his head down. Like, I don't understand why you would want to take a point away for that. But then you let the guy do his best version of Vladimir Klitschko in the last round and do nothing but hold and hug and lean on the man's back without taking a point. I thought that was,
well, that's why his body was down, because the 6'8" motherfucker was leaning on him.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Like, why are you letting him pull your head down? I'm gonna take away a point. Like, bro, you're supposed to be taking away a point from the other dude.
Yeah.
Like, I swear to God, bro, I think this ref is a ref for the Greco-Roman Olympics, and he showed up to the boxing. I think he was in the wrong spot.
Might be. And look, guys, you see how somebody was here challenging us, right? Running their mouth in the chat. And of course, do they ask for the link? Do they email for the link? No.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, you know what's crazy too, though? Like, and all bullshit aside, if they come on and they keep it respectful, it's not like it's going to get disrespectful. We're just going to talk. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't understand what the big deal is. You know what I mean?
All you got to do is check my history. You've seen the way that I deal with guys. Did you see me yelling at them, cursing them out? Do you see me muting them, putting them backstage? Like, I don't do that type of stuff. If you're going to come on here, you're going to catch a fair one every single time, I
mean, if official LDBC rep wants to jump on and show his face for once.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have a conversation, rep. What's up, rep?
Exactly.
Or does rep just want to just be typing for the rest of his life? I don't know, rep. You let me know, rep.
Yeah, the guy's got some fast fingers, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Or is it this? I don't know if it's this or this, but it's one or the other.
So if to get back on the Ortiz and Mean Machine fight this Saturday, do you think that the winner will get a shot at Crawford? Now, Mean Machine already fought him. He got stopped. But do you think that's a possibility? He gets a rematch if he happens to pull off the upset, man, or Ortiz if he wins.
Crawford. Let me tell you something, bro. Yes, he dropped Crawford, but it's like when Crawford took it to another level, it was a wrap, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, I want to see Crawford fight Porter, bro, or like one of these PBC guys. That's what I want to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'd rather see personally. So, Ugas, Crawford versus Ugas. That's a unification fight. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I would rather see. Or look, if Mean Machine does beat Ortiz, right? Hey, good for him. It's a big win. But instead of Crawford, why not have him fight Ugas? You know what I mean? Or like fight somebody else for a title. Like, I just don't. You got stopped by Crawford, bro, and when he went another gear, you couldn't keep up. Like, I don't know, but that's not a fight I need to see again. If he beats Ortiz, that just means Ortiz isn't as good as I thought he was. It doesn't mean, okay, he's ready for Crawford.
Exactly. Nando is asking, who is Crawford finally fighting? I don't know, man. There's supposed to be an announcement soon. I keep hearing that. I keep seeing that on social media. We know that his mandatory right now is Sean Porter. Man, that would be a good fight. I hope it happens, man. I really do. And but we'll see, man. We know how difficult these fights are, man. And that's one of the reasons why I asked Roberto Diaz on the HCP last week to talk to us, to let us know how difficult it is to make fights in boxing these days. It's not an easy thing, man. It's not an easy thing. And that's another main reason why I moved away from the duck talk, because a lot of it has nothing to do with fighters themselves. Stefan says Ortiz is already ranked number 1 with the WBO, so hopefully we'll get Ortiz fight at some point, but I prefer the Porter fight. Yes, I would love that Porter fight next, man. That would be much needed for Terrence Bud Crawford at 147 pounds. He needs a guy like Sean Porter in the ring with him. He just absolutely needs it at this point. It's not a want. It's not a have. Or he's got to get a guy like that in the ring. Has to right now. Yeah. There's just, or Ugas. I'll take Ugas as well, but Porter's the mandatory, so let's try to make that happen.
I mean, look, for all the talk about, let me just say this, man. For God's sakes, Crawford, okay, don't sign a long-term deal with Top Rank, please. And before somebody jumps on me and says, "Oh, what do you mean?" It's not because I hate Top Rank or love Top Rank, or it's because it's not working for him. He's at a stage of his career where he should be a free agent. That's what Crawford should be right now. That's where you are right now, bro. You don't need a promoter like that anymore. Be a free agent. Be flexible. It doesn't mean you never fight on a Top Rank card again. It just means 1 or 2 fights per contract. But right now, Crawford, you're not Canelo, bro. It's not like you could offer a dude $10 million to come fight you. You know what I mean? So we got to keep it real. Like you need to go over there. That's where the smoke is. You need to go to PBC, brother. You need to work with them. You know what I mean? Look, I'll support, if you want to do one fight at a time, cool. But you need to go over there. You need to go to PBC. Like I'm just saying, or work with them, I should say. And you need to be a free agent, bro. Like there's no reason to sign a long-term contract. Again, it has nothing to do with oh, you're against Top Rank. Look, when Valdez signed the contract or renewal with Top Rank, it makes sense because that's where the smoke is at. Shakur is there. The Marine is there. You know what I mean? Like, so it makes sense. Like they got opponents for him. Top Rank ran out of opponents for you, bro. Like, I'm just saying. You don't renew with a contractor that doesn't have jobs for you anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll get to it. A super chat. Nando Llamas with another $4.99 says, Crawford and GGG must be. I said that on purpose for D-Style. GGG.
God. I quit.
Must have been separated at birth. Finger pointing and excuses, but sneaky getting paid for not much. Yeah, I mean, not much has happened for Crawford at 147 pounds. I could agree with you on that. I mean, he's been lineal a couple times. He's been undisputed before he's moved up to 147 pounds. Now, Triple G, I mean, I know that there's some guys in the chat right now that have choice words for a guy like Triple G. But
wait, about Crawford, I call out Tank right now.
Ooh.
Now, people won't like that, right? They won't like it, but you know what I would say about Crawford? Well, you're feeling froggy. You want to come up and fight a welterweight in Thurman, right? So just come on, let's go.
Yeah,
that's what I would do if I was him.
And Tank's fans don't have an issue with him fighting Thurman, a guy who's, again, been out of the ring over 2 years, injury prone, lost his last fight. You know, like, look, we know what's happening over there, man.
I'm keeping it consistent. Remember when Triple G was saying he would fight anybody from 154 to 168, and then like they were talking about making a fight with Froch, and then when Ward said, "Okay, let's do it," all of a sudden he didn't want to do it. Yeah, like let's find out if Tank is that dude like that. Like you're feeling like you want to jump. Okay, Tank, jump. That's what I would do if I was Crawford. That's what I would do. I mean, that's an easy fight for Crawford. Let me just tell you guys right now. Tank Davis is an easy fight. He would show all you guys that he ain't made for welterweight. Okay, and I don't want to hear anything. Crawford started at 135. Okay, so for everybody saying, "Oh, Tank's doing things we never seen," like, well, I guess you haven't seen boxing that long. You know what I mean? I guess you started watching boxing like last November or something. I don't know. But at the end of the day, That's what I would do. If I'm Crawford, that's what I would do. Because look, he's not going to get the fight, but it's going to put him in the headlines. You know what I mean? And when somebody says, "Oh, Crawford, you're being a bully," like all he's got to say is, "What the dude wants to fight Thurman."
Yep.
But like, what do you mean? He's saying that he's going to knock Thurman out.
Yeah, his own spokesman or promoter, whatever you want to call him, Leonard Ellaby, said he would knock him the fuck out. Tank knocks Thurman the fuck out right now. Well, shouldn't be a problem then to take on another quote unquote smaller welterweight, because Thurman used to fight at 154 pounds at one time. So he's a bigger guy. Like, you telling me you won't get it on with a smaller welterweight, you know? Boxer Girl says Thurman a tune-up for Crawford. Man,
make the fight, bro. Like, if I'm Crawford, I'm moving mountains to get that freaking Ugas fight, bro. It's a unification fight. You have two of the belts. Like, just do. I'm telling you, you know, like something tells me like Ugas would be willing to jump ship, like not ship, but like he'd be willing to go ESPN to get that Crawford fight. Something just tells me, you know, but. These Cubans don't duck no smoke like that. I mean, not that I've seen. They don't have a history of it, right? Now, granted, is there a possibility that they won't let him or whatever? I don't know, but bro, like, and maybe he is moving mountains. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, right? I'm not there, right? We're not there, but I'm telling you, man, that's a fight to make. Get the two belts, because then you have something there. If Pacquiao beats Spence, you're like, yo, I got two of the belts. If Spence beats Pacquiao, yo, I got two of the belts. It's unify. You know,
that's right. A-Rod here says at D-Style Boxing, I know Mikey said he'll fight Tank. No one jumped on that one. Right. You know,
Mikey will probably do it at 147.
Yeah, we know what they're doing. African G, I appreciate you, man. He gives a 199 super chat. I appreciate the support, man. No doubt about it. And a longtime supporter of HCP is African G. Yeah, man. Like I said, I was hoping we had a guy in the chat who was running his mouth all through the topics, and then when I drop the email, he runs off and is nowhere to be found. So I want you guys to do me a favor, okay? Next time you see a Jose R, jump into the chat, just get rid of him. I ain't got time for shit like this, man. Get rid of him. You know, I let him run his mouth in the chat, but he doesn't want to come on now. So. Here's another question. PC is in bed with the WBA. You think Heyman is gonna let Ugas go to Top Rank? Nah, he's not. No, I doubt it. Seriously, doubt it. And
I mean, I'm not saying he has to let him go to Top Rank. Just let him go fight over there. Like he let Andy Ruiz go fight. You know, over there. He or not over there, but on his own. He let Castaño go snatch the belt from Teixeira. You know. I mean, if you're on Heyman, what if Ugas wins that fight? What if Ugas beats Crawford? He's already beat him in the amateurs, by the way. So if let's say he beats him, right? You got all the belts, all of them. You have all of them on the PBC side. Yeah, I'm just saying. But something just like every time, like I'm just saying, like if Al Heyman believes in him, you know, I don't know if he believes in Ugas beating Crawford. Just like I don't think he believes Plant's going to beat. You know, Canelo, because let me tell you something, Chief Funky. All bullshit aside. If he had faith in Plant beating Canelo, would he be worried about a multi-fight contract with Canelo?
No.
It wouldn't be necessary. I'm just saying.
Exactly. So I'm glad that comment popped up, because there was some corruption that happened this weekend in a fight. With a decision. Now, look, we all know as hardcore fans, we're not strangers to horrible decisions.
We're desensitized to these bad decisions at this point.
Yeah. But I'm going to give my thoughts on this. You know, these judges absolutely need to be investigated. You know, there's no way that Fox lost that fight. You know, I'm just going to flat out say it. You know, clearly wins the fight, but doesn't get the decision. Those judges should not be allowed to ever score another fight, in my opinion. I think if you mess up a fight that fucking bad, you know, it's not a point of vision, or it's just flat out incompetence, in my opinion. You know, you just don't know what the hell's going on, what you're looking at that point. Or maybe you are paid off, like some people have suggested that I've seen recently. That would not be a shocker to me. You know, we know things happen in boxing. We're not one of these guys that deny that, you know, even though we're still hardcore fans, you know, we still love the sport. We still cover the sport, but we know that shit goes on. All right. And I'll also say this, there's been some receipts pulled on one of those judges that judged the fight on Saturday night. Now, this definitely needs to happen. These sanctioning bodies or promotional companies that pick and choose these judges to judge these fights, you need to do a much, much better job at picking these judges to score these fights. You got any thoughts on this, D-Style?
Well, so I can't save the world, guys. I can't, like get on something and make a change. Like I can't do it. What do I have? I have a platform. I can talk about it. I can mention it, and I have, right? I just don't have the energy to do something that's gonna, like, when nothing's gonna happen. Like, the sport has shown me time and time again that nothing's gonna happen. In fact, if you don't mind, I want to share this really quick, just so people could see it, okay? And so you could get what I mean, right? So this is PBC, right? Read that part. Earns interim WBA welterweight title. Nothing about controversial. Nothing about, like, I'm not even looking for the word robbery, but nothing about controversy. Nothing about that. This is not the WBA posting this. That's PBC on Fox posting that.
Facts.
PBC on Fox doesn't give a fuck. They don't care about the judge and the history of the judge. Because I'm not saying it's like literally right here, but what I'm saying is the judges gave PBC on Fox what PBC on Fox wanted. That's what you see. That's what you see posted. Guys, look, obviously, in my opinion, if it was up to me, this decision would be overturned.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The decision would be overturned. I'm not interested in the judge's personal life and what they tweeted. And I saw, some person did some disgusting thing to Ryan O'Hara, like pulling up receipts for 2013 and oh, look at me, I'm holier than thou and I'm better than everybody. I'm not interested in that shit. But what matters to me is how you score a fight. That's what matters to me. What matters to me is if you show a clear bias, okay, and it's showing because these fighters put too much work. They put too much work. Just think about it. Think about all the miles. If you could only calculate the miles a fighter puts when they finally get even if it's an interim title shot, they probably ran thousands upon thousands of miles. Think about all the sweat that they put in. Think about all the blood they spilt. Think about all the tears they've dropped. That's where the term blood, sweat, and tears comes from.
Yeah.
Think about all the punches they've taken, and our body is fight night, people. There's only so many punches a person can take in a lifetime. Think about all the punches they've taken, not just in that fight, but up until that point, not just in official fights, but in sparring and in the amateurs during training. All of that just so a judge could throw it all away. Because whether they have a vendetta against the fighter, whether they're just too lazy to do it, or because they're doing the favors. This is absolute bullshit. This is absolute trash, or as G-Funky likes to say, this is dumpster juice. That's what this is. That's what this is. And I got to look at the top. I got to look at, yo, PBC on Fox, why are you posting about this as if we didn't just see a highway robbery? I mean, just think about it. Just think about it, guys. The bank was robbed in plain sight.
Yep.
And then like you see the dudes in the suits walking by like nothing happened with suitcases. Well, because they got the money. I need to make sure people understand. What is PBC going to do about it? Nothing. I know that's heartbreaking to hear. Nothing's going to come out of it. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. There's never consequences in boxing. Ever. At best, Fox is going to get a rematch. But to be honest with you, G-Funky, I don't even think a rematch is necessary. I think they should give him the belt, and I think he beat him clear enough where a rematch is not necessary. He shouldn't have to beat him twice. It's absolute. Yeah. This is asinine. I'm running out of adjectives here, but I'll keep coming up with them. Because at the end of the day, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to the judge. They might get a slap in the wrist, and they'll be back, and everyone's going to move on with their lives, and nobody's going to give a fuck about anything. That's just the way life is. That's the way life goes. That's the way boxing is, unfortunately. Okay? You know when shit's going to change? When people stop actually watching. That's when shit's going to change. All right? Stop supporting bullshit fights. If nobody watches bullshit fights, they'll stop making bullshit fights. Start watching the good fights. They'll start making more good fights. But unfortunately, as boxing fans, we don't listen. We still have boxing fans supporting bullshit fights. We still have boxing fans fighting tooth and nail about bullshit. Right? So what are we going to do? Right? I try to tell people, hey, Tank hasn't fought anybody. Well, what do you mean he's fighting on pay-per-view? No, he's a pay-per-view star. Just accept it. Like, okay, well, if that's your standard for it, then I guess that's where we are. Yeah. If that's your standard for it, that's where you are. Nothing's going to happen. PBC did nothing about it. They look, just look at the post. They're not going to do anything about it. They're going to do nothing. All we could do is state our opinion. In my opinion, just so it's out there, the judge should be banned from ever scoring a fight. By the way, not just that judge. Okay, the other two judges too. All right, they should never judge another professional prize fight ever again. Ever. Like, I want them gone from the sport. Is that going to happen? Probably not. Is the WBA going to do anything about it? No.
I'm glad that you said that. 20 years ago to the day, I believe, Chris Jericho made his debut on Raw. And when you said never, ever, just reminded me of that.
Ever.
Shout out to the Carnal Santeo. What's going on, man?
Right. Look. At the end of the day, man, it's not about, and I think this is what's getting confused right now. Okay, it's not about not speaking out. It's about how much energy am I going to put into it? Because I'm telling you right now, nothing's going to change. I'm just telling you right now, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's because you know why I know? Not this time anyway. Because PBC posted about it like it's all hunky dory, like it's all good.
Yeah,
PBC
he earned it. He earned it.
Yeah, they said he earned it. Oh, he earned the WBA interim title. Okay, we're moving on right now. So if you're not pointing at PBC, then you're already starting in the wrong place. you got to bring the dudes on top. Look out there. If you're not starting from there, you're already in the wrong place. Nothing's going to change. I'm just telling you that right now. Nothing will change. Is that unfortunate? Yes, unfortunately. Okay. My problem is the way they scored the fight. The way they scored the fight is not consistent with what the actual fight was.
Yeah, what happened?
That is asinine. That is pathetic. And of course, there's a questionable history of one of the judges. Okay. And questionable is putting it very lightly. Okay. I get it. Right. But going after this one judge is deflecting off the fact that PBC doesn't give a fuck. And they're literally saying this guy earned his shot. He earned his title.
Yep.
Okay. So I am doing something. I'm calling out PBC. If you're not doing that, you're not starting in the right place. Do that if you want change. If you don't do that, nothing's going to change. I'm just going to tell you right now. Nothing will change because you don't want to call out PBC. They're acting like nothing happened. What does that tell you? The judges were their henchmen. That's what that tells you.
And look at how many bad decisions we get from PBC. We just had one on an undisputed card. We had bad judging in that fight too. And this is why I highlighted this question here. Minnie Mill says PBC cards will affect the Canelo Plant fight if it goes 12. There's a good possibility of that. We can't rule it out after some of the things we've seen. A lot of people
needs to definitely think about that. There's no doubt.
Yeah. A lot of people felt like Fury beat Wilder convincingly in the first fight. The man got a draw out of it. You know, we've seen a lot of bad decisions over on the PBC with the judges.
lot of bad decisions.
A lot. You know, so that is definitely something that Canelo has to take into consideration. There's another one, Raleigh versus Marinez. Another one, you know.
And Marinez was, I mean, that was in broad daylight, bro.
Yeah.
Broad daylight.
Yeah. A lot of bad decisions happened over there, man. This is nothing new to you know, the PBC. Should Manny Pacquiao be worried about that?
That Raleigh one was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. That was bad. Okay.
Do you think
now granted, I'm at least me, I never said there's no bad decisions at Matchroom and Top Rank and Golden Boy. There's bad decisions everywhere.
This
is an issue, but right now we're specifically speaking about, you know, PBC, that they have a history that look, G Funky. Al Bernstein works for Showtime. That's
called
PBC.
Him out. Yeah,
he even called him out. He even called the shit out. So, but PBC doesn't give a fuck. They're posting about this shit like nothing happened. So, you know, it is what it is. PBC's like, hey, he did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Here's another question from Stefan. He says, does pro boxing need 5 judges for a fight? I mean, look, I'll say this, Stefan. I mean, it's an idea for sure. Does it fix it? Probably not, because I feel like a lot of the times when these things happen, it's because there's corruption, you know?
Well, let me put it this way, right? For anybody, again, I don't know why people want to why are we letting PBC off the hook here?
Yeah.
They just posted about how this guy earned his WBA interim title. At the very least, we need to admit that that's a horrible title after what we saw. Like, to title it, he earned it is very, very, like that is like a slap to the face of Fox. Okay? That's what that is.
They're sweeping it under the rug.
Period.
Yeah,
and is PBC going to punish WBA by like no longer putting WBA title fights on the air? Are any of the networks going to do that? No.
Nope.
Are any of the WBA champions going to stand up and be like, you know what? I'm not going to represent the WBA unless you do something about this judge. Are any of them going to do that? No. Nobody's going to do anything. The people that are supposed to do shit aren't doing shit. The PBC, okay, this is a pattern with PBC. Like, whoever doesn't see that, and it doesn't matter if it's a WBA fight, WBC fight, no title on the line. It's what I see. So, and when I see when I see bullshit with Top Rank, I call that out too. But if you don't see that, it's a choice that you don't see that. That's just what it is. You're doing it by choice.
I agree. I agree. PBC definitely needs to be called out. And again, they're not even acknowledging it. They're just sweeping it under the rug. Just, you know, sweep. Let's act like nothing happened. Let's just say this happened when everybody saw this.
I mean, we're not going to get called out for it. Our PBC fanboys are going to give us a pass. So fuck it. Just say you earned it. You know what I mean?
There it is there, you know?
It is a horrible title. Okay, can we not agree that's a horrible thing to title that he earned a WBA interim title?
Horrible, man.
So, of course, look, at the end of the day, the right thing to do would be to, at the very least, vacate the belt. You know what I mean?
Do you think
call it a no contest or something? They need to do that.
Do you think Manny Pacquiao is at risk at losing a 12-round decision if he, you know, outworks Spence? Let's just say it's one of those fights where, you know, he looks to be the busier guy all night long, land more punches, throw more punches. Is he at risk at getting one of these bad decisions from the PBC?
I don't know. I mean, look,
It's a
we can. I
possibility.
mean, if we're honest, we can ask this about any promotion, right? Like,
Mhm.
like, so I just don't know. I don't know. I don't like to like the fight hasn't happened yet. Like, I'll wait. If it happens, it happens. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But that's all I got to say.
Anything's possible, you know. I mean, a lot of people felt like Pacquiao got robbed on his own promotional network when he fought Timothy Bradley.
That's my
You know?
point. Like that happened. And then like there was some talks about how they wanted to do a rematch. They had already planned the rematch, and then like the Horn fight. You know what I mean? So, you know.
Yeah. And we're talking about it right now. Lennox was best. You know, and again, PBC is just sweeping it under the rug, man. They're almost like the news. Like I just seen a documentary last night on
I mean, they're getting
Showtime.
a pass. People are like, oh, don't blame no blame for the PBC. They get a pass. Okay, well,
Yeah.
then
I
nothing's
just
going to
seen
change then.
I just seen a documentary last night on it's called UFO. And they talked about some of the most compelling videos and evidence out there of stuff flying in the sky that a lot of people see, and about how government officials just sweep it under the rug. Like, we'll just play it off like there's some goofball people out there, and you know, it's one of those things, man. Calix Boxing in the house. What's going on, man? So yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Like we all see a clear win for one fighter, the other guy gets the win, and the promotional company just, you know, he earned it. So yeah, guys. Like I said, there was a guy in the chat who was challenging us when the time came to come on and speak. He chickened out. You know, he ran away like a dog with his tail between his legs because he was terrified of HCP, and that's cool. There was another guy from Twitter who I told him I was going to be live Monday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Doesn't show up. And you know what? Doesn't surprise me. All right. So, D-Style, we're going to wrap this thing up, man. But tomorrow night, huge show tomorrow night. We got the legend, the ex-world, the former world champion, the Hall of Famer, Christy Martin will be joining us. And D-Style, let the people know.
Well, yes. I mean that Christy Martin, she needs no introduction. Big week for her. She's going to have a documentary coming out soon. I'll let her announce where that's at tomorrow. So she's going to be talking about that. The great Christy Salters Martin, the coal miner's daughter. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and talk to that. We're also going to have Alves Garcia, 11-0, 8 knockouts. Okay, so we're going to definitely, talk to him as well. He was a sparring partner for Anthony Joshua on the lead up to his Andy Ruiz fight. So from Mexico. Yeah, Joshua, you know what I mean? So that's Alves Garcia. He's a Luta Bella fighter. So I'm looking forward to having him on as well. If anyone has one question you want to ask, Christy Martin, send me the video with the question so we could play it during the show. Okay, so just letting y'all know about that.
There we go. And I see some people who are just popping up asking, have we touched on certain topics? Yeah, we touched on all of them that are in the title. So you're going to have to go back and catch the replay because we're getting ready to wrap this one up, guys. But I want to thank everybody. I want to thank our guest, Christina Cruz, who came on after her big win in her pro debut. Be on the lookout for her. And, thank everybody who dropped super chats. We appreciate the support because without you guys, it doesn't work, man. Without the support of you guys showing up, and not just the super chats, but just hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel, spreading the word about HCP, the home of real boxing talk. That's what really counts out here. Okay. So again, tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, we will have the legend, Hall of Fame promoter, Christy Martin on with us. So for myself, G Funky Boxing, and for D-Style Boxing, this is HCP, and we're out. See you guys tomorrow night.
Shout out to Hispanics causing panics. Shout Shout out to Hispanics Causing Panics.
Hispanics Causing Panic. I'm glad to be here.
Hispanics are causing panic, baby. Let's do it.